Hi there folks, Steve Plummer here. Welcome to Retail Rescue. This is your add-in webinar, I guess, from our Retail Recession Rescue one-day workshop yesterday. Hopefully you had a great time. Hopefully you learned a lot. This will be going out to you because you requested it, because of the change in schedule yesterday. So it's going to be a content-rich, action-packed, and definitely strategy-filled way. In fact, 3 quick and easy ways for attracting, keeping and monetizing more customers in 2012. Okay, one of the things I'll ask you to do is make sure you've got a pen and paper handy, because there will be lots to take down. There'll be some ideas, some aha moments and some light bulbs going on as we go through this. I'm sitting here in my hotel room in Sydney the day after Retail Recession Rescue, so I'm really keen to help you guys out and to show you these three quick and easy ways for attracting, keeping and monetizing more customers in 2012. And yes, I will be revealing that one strategy that has pulled in over $140,000 just in a few weeks. So get yourself set, get ready, and we'll get started very shortly. Just one other thing before we do start. If at any stage you need to write something down, feel free just to pause and then go back to the webinar and continue at your own pace. Okay, so let's just do a quick recap from yesterday and see how much you learnt from Mel and JD. So all the money is in the, what would you say to that? All the money in your business is in the database or the list. Hopefully you said the list or the database, because that's where the money is. And what we're on about today is very much getting inside the head of your market and building your database so you can monetize it. Alrighty, what we do today is based on the teaching philosophy of Confucius, which goes something like this. He says, and remember this is a 2,000 old or plus year old teaching philosophy. I hear and I forget, I see and I remember, I do and I understand. So the emphasis is very much on the doing, and I'll ask you at certain times to stop doing, or sorry, to pause the webinar and go and do something, then come back to the webinar when you have finished that. So it is a hands-on training today, and I know you're going to get a heap out of it. So let's get started. Okay, 3 quick and easy ways for attracting, keeping and monetizing more customers in 2012, and yes, including that strategy that brought in all the dough. Okay, so by the end of this training, you'll have understood one of the fundamental building blocks of selling, how to get inside the mind of your market. That is really important. I can't emphasize that enough. You'll also be able to run competitions and promotions the right way, so you get more customers spending more money with you. And I'm going to show you how to get their attention in an offline world of increasing clutter. And it's a strategy that your online competitors certainly won't be using. So if that seems like a good use of the next hour or so of your day, fantastic, you're in the right place. Let's get started. Oh, sorry, one other thing before we go on. There's a number of things that I want to say. Is that first, what we talk about today is based on principles. Okay, principles that have been proven to work. Now understand though, there are many ways to be right. So you might have seen it done differently somewhere else and say, well, I've seen it done like that, and this person said this and this person said that. There are many ways to be right. What I'm giving you is the way I do things, and what I've developed as the skills and the strategies, I guess, that work for me. Also, just something else to keep in mind, everything is market specific. Okay, it is market specific. What works beautifully in one market for one group of people may not necessarily work so well. So everything is test and measure. Okay, so you test small, and when it works, you roll it out big. Okay, just a little bit about me so you know who you're dealing with. As it says there, I'm Mel's personal copywriter. What that means is that basically everything that comes out of the Street Smart office has been written by me, either in part or in full. And I work from home on the Sunshine Coast, and of course Mel's office is over in Perth. I wasn't always a copywriter though. It's been a bit of a career change journey for me. I began my working life as a high school English teacher. That's me on my first day of teaching way back when. An interesting sort of experience in that I was 2 years older than the oldest kid in my class and 21 years younger than the oldest student in my class. So mother of 3 returning to do her year 12 so she could go on to university. But based on that that saying that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I survived those early difficult years, then went on to build a fairly successful career in the education field. So if you do feel like it's very structured and it's very classroom-like, I guess my old habits die hard, and I probably also don't make any apology for that, because I know the way I do things in terms of teaching other people. I know it works. So if it's too much like school for you, I understand that, but I guess please stick with us, because the messages here are really important. I also spent some time out in Western Queensland, a small town called Blackall, so I have had a broad range of life experience, and I even rose to the lofty heights of head of department and deputy principal. So that's just a little bit about me. Now, the other thing that I did was I ran a freelance journalism business on the side, and so I've always had this love of writing, and I've been able to combine working in Mel's street smart environment, I guess those two gifts, if you like, of mine, of writing and teaching. So hopefully you'll get some benefit out of what we do today. Alright, so let's get back to our main principle. All the money is in the database or the list. Okay, all the money is in the list. Okay, so what's the secret? Well, here it is. You're going to know your market. That's a big one, and that's a writer-downer. Know your market. Every single thing that you do must be expressed in terms of what's in it for me being the customer. So often, guys, I see marketing by business people or even advertising agencies that they lead with the business name and the logo right up the top. No one really cares, because it's always got to be expressed. If you want to be successful, it's always got to be expressed in terms of what's in it for me. Okay, because the customer thinks it's all about me. No one gets up in the morning thinking about your business. Everyone, including you, gets up thinking about their life and what they've got to do. Alright, so you've got to know your market. You've got to everything you do must be expressed in terms of what's in it for them, not you. You've got to take you out of it and make them the focus. So just keep that principle in mind as we work through this. Okay, so always think market first, product second. Just because you've got a certain XYZ to sell doesn't necessarily mean that your market wants to buy it. So it's got to be your market, what makes them tick, what do they want, and then get a product to match that. If you flip that thinking around, your results will change dramatically, promise. Alrighty, so let's get stuck in here. The quick and easy way to get to know your market deeper. One of the things that I want you to understand too is that nothing what we go through here has been invented by me. What that means is that you don't have to invent anything either, and that's a really comforting thing, because the principles that I teach here are timeless principles that have been proven to work over and over again across many industries. So I don't invent anything, you guys don't have to invent anything, you just have to learn the principles and apply them to your business. And this is the first one, a quick and easy way to get to know your market deeper. If you start with your market, your success will be, you have a much greater chance of success. Okay, so there's a copywriter in America called Bob Bly. He's developed, and I use this all the time, it's a really powerful tool, something called the BFD formula. So that for your market, what that means is you have to work out what their beliefs are. So what are their beliefs? That's the B part. What their feelings are, what feelings do they have? That's the F part. And what are their desires? The D part, the BFD. I'll give you an example of that. So it might look like this. Okay, you list all the things, just down the page like that. Okay, and let's just say our market is migraine headache sufferers. So we would write down what their beliefs are. So what are their beliefs? I do this, I do it with pen and paper, I don't do it on a computer. For every market, everything I'm selling to, this is what I do. So I'm giving you a look inside how a pro copywriter works and how a pro copywriter approaches any particular marketing task. So what are the beliefs of migraine sufferers? Well, migraines are hereditary. Migraines are hard or impossible to cure or combat. Migraines ruin my life. So what you've got to do is get inside, what are they thinking? What are their beliefs? What do they believe to be true? It doesn't mean it necessarily is true, but what do they believe to be true? And if you can crack that one, that's a big winner for you. Okay, now the second part of it, what are their feelings? So they are frustrated at being in pain. They are angry at missing out on fun things because of their headache. And they are angry, or they are not understood by non-migraine sufferers. Okay, so their feelings, what are those emotions that they've got? And lastly, their desires. What do they want? They want to be normal. They want to find a lasting cure, not just relief. And they want to understand, or they want understanding and support. So what you need to do, and this is not a 5 or 10 minute task, this could be a half a day task that you sit down with your team and you go through this. And when you do, you feel empowered because you simply know who you're selling to more and more deeply and on a more conscious level, and therefore you can match your message to them. So what I would ask you to do is have a quick go at doing this for your particular market. So pause the webinar there. Now, one thing to note, how I do it, I write the heading down. Okay, so what are their beliefs? And then I use that particular formula. I believe there is power in following that formula. So what are their feelings? They are. What are their desires? 2, 2, 2. Okay, so pause that on the screen so you can see it, and go and spend 5 or 10 minutes getting a start on that for your particular market. Do that now. Okay, there's the formula again if you need to just double check on anything. Okay, and when you're done, come back to the webinar, press play, and let's go on to number 2. Okay, so quick and easy way number 2 is to build your list by running competitions and promotions. Alright, there's 2 ways to do a competition or a promotion. Now, the first one is to do one that's aligned to your product. Win a year's supply of socks. If you're a sock retailer, for example, that's what you could do, to win a year's supply of something. That's a very powerful one. People like a year's free something. Now, the second way is something that's totally removed from your product. And if you remember back to yesterday, JD went through these with the petrol promotions, the holidays, those sorts of things. Now, I'm not going into this second one here. That's a fairly specialised thing, and I guess JD's JD is a world expert on how to implement that for your business. What I want to do is this one you can start this week, okay, and start a competition aligned to your product. And it's low cost, but it's high return in terms of that overriding principle of building your list, and that will become evident as we go through. So the first way, remember, is to get to know your market. The second way is to do a competition. And the reason we want to do that is to build our list, but also to get sales. So this is a quick return strategy. Okay, so what you do, and look, as I said, nothing is a great revelation or overly new, but stick with me here because there are certain things that you need to do, and there's a couple of little bonuses at the end, a couple of little secrets that really help to boost response. So obviously you do your promotion in store with your signs, your shop windows, your balloons and all that sort of thing, so anyone who walking by or coming in can see that there's something big going on. Okay, you send an email out to your list saying, hey, we've got this competition, you get to win whatever it is. Then you do a mailing to your list of people. Okay, you need to hit people multiple times. If they don't read their email, you hit them with mail. If they don't read their mail, they might see your email. Okay, one-shot advertising, one-shot attempt at getting attention simply does not work in our world of clutter. So run ads, do door hangers, FSIs, which are freestanding inserts. You know, those things like in the free paper, for instance. You could do a flyer, a freestanding insert, telling people about your competition. And of course, a growing trend is social media, so you can put that on Facebook and Twitter as well. Okay, just make sure you follow the principles of emotional direct response marketing, and that's where you put the feelings, the wants, the desires of your market in the front of your mind in any message you send out. And your business name and your logo are subordinated. Okay, so make sure in those principles you've got an eye-catching headline. Make sure you have scarcity and urgency in there. That gets people to act. Make sure you've got multiple ways of contacting you. Make sure the benefits to them are clear. Really important one. Make sure there is a call to action. Tell them what to do. And here's an example based on Mal's ugly ad formula. Notice big thick border. Could be something as simple, win free socks for a year. Now if you just glance at that, look away and look back, the first thing you see is this big bold headline where it leaves them in no uncertain terms about what they get. Notice it's not socks are us with the cool sock logo here. That is about them. So they win free socks for a year. and then the rest of the ad goes on. For 10 days only from whatever date to whatever date, there's the scarcity urgency. Every time you purchase an item from Socks R Us, you go in the draw to win free socks for a year. If you win each month, you get to spend $50 in store on any item. Choose from, Bonds, Burley, whatever the sock brands are. This is an example, obviously. Hurry, limited time only. Free socks for a year competition or promotion ends whatever date, only at Socks R Us, where the store location is. That's one way of contacting, and then a phone number, or it could be a website if you've got a website. Now that can be done for anything. Don't fall into the trap. I'm not a sock retailer, therefore it doesn't apply to me. Think of how you can apply it to your business. Okay, the purpose of it is twofold. Now notice how it's structured. Every time you purchase an item from Socks R Us, so it's getting them to come into the store and spend money with you. Okay, so you're getting a sale on the front end, but the benefit, the big payoff, is further down the track. So it's a way to instantly boost sales. You spend, you get an entry. You spend, you get an entry. Okay, so you get them to come into the store, you get them to buy something, that's money for you, you get them to come back again, and I'll explain how that works in a second. And what you need to do is get as much information on them as you can: the name, address, email, and date of birth. Now, this is following on from what JD spoke about yesterday. He was very much about, very strong, I guess you could say, on the need to build your database. Okay, so you need to get as much information as possible so you can market to them, so you build that list. Okay, now to make it work, you do your in-store promotion materials, which I've mentioned, the big box, the balloons, the signs, etc. You need to create some forms that are going to have the correct wording. So the form has to have the headline on it, win free socks for a year. It needs to have instructions on it, so please fill out this form to go into the draw to win free socks for a year. The winner will be contacted by phone and or mail. Then you have the lines for their details. And then you've got to train your staff. Not just, you want to enter competition? No, you've got to, they have to approach it correctly too. So for example, have you heard about our win socks for a year competition, or would you like free socks for a year? So script it, and maybe even do a couple of different scripts and see which one gets a better response from customers. And then you obviously go with the one that works better. So make sure your staff are trained as well. A couple of advanced tips, and these are really important. Now, when asking for a person's date of birth, you don't write date of birth. You write when's your birthday. Now, a couple of things here. I'm not sure when it is, but all of us at some stage, I think it's about the early 30s, we get a little bit sensitive about our age. So we don't, we just don't like being asked for our date of birth. But it softens it a bit when you say when's your birthday. Now, why is that important? Obviously it's when, I'll go back, I'll get that off. When it's someone's birthday, you can then send them something, hey, it's your birthday, congratulations, come in, you got 15% off. That's getting people back into the store. That's just one example. When you find out their birthday, you're contacting them again, you're giving them a reason to come back. Okay, now here's another advanced tip. When the competition is over, email all entrants to notify them who the winner is. That gives authenticity to your competition. But here's the killer. You give them an unannounced prize, for example, a voucher to come in and spend. And the good part about that is it gets them back into the store spending money with you. So we're making money on the front end, we're building our list, and then we're getting them to come back again and spend more money with us. Now, of course, not everyone will come in, but if you get even 15% of the people who entered to coming back in, that's 15% more than you had. Okay, so you can see it's a three-pronged strategy. Money spent on the front end, go in the draw, get the details to go in the draw, and then you get them to come back in and spend when the competition is over. So that's money for you, that's a database, that's a list building for you. Huge, easy to do strategy you can start this week. Just plan it out and roll it out. Right, quick task, here we go. List 3 competition ideas you could run in your business. Just do that for a couple of minutes right now, please. So pause the webinar and bang, go ahead and do it. Don't worry about sharing your ideas, unless of course you're sitting with someone watching this. Okay, welcome back. Here we go. Quick and easy way number 3. And in this one, you're going to find the $140,000 in a couple of weeks strategy. Okay, quick and easy way number 3. So, lumpy mail. Street Smart's preferred weapon of choice. Now, what is lumpy mail? If I was standing on the stage yesterday, I would have showed you that lumpy mail is simply a normal letter, a normal envelope that's got a lump in it. and it's a three-dimensional, got to be three-dimensional so it stands out. Why we do that is this. Most people sort their mail standing over the waste paper bin, and you think about it yourself. What you do, you got a stack of mail, you go one pile, bill, 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 that looks interesting, bin, bill, bill, interesting, bin, bin, bill, interesting. So you end up with a few piles. What you don't want is your letter to your list in the bin, and you probably don't want it in the bills pile because chances are that won't get seen for a while. I don't know about you, but I'm never keen to open my bills. You're probably like that too. The people you sell to are like that. So we've got to find some way of breaking that particular way that human beings go about their day. The other thing is that there's 5.1 billion mail articles handled by Australia Post in 2009-10. So what that means is there's a world of clutter out there, even in mail. Okay, a quick example of how well it can work. In any direct mail campaign, industry norms are from 0.5% to 1%. So if you're sending out 100 letters, if you get one sale from them, that's considered industry norm, doing quite well. Now, would you be happy if you got 15%? Okay, I'm just going to reveal to you shortly a campaign that I did for a wine retailer that got a 25%, that's right, a 25% response rate. It was huge. Now here's the thing, if something's working so well that you get a 25% response rate, what should you do? Should you roll it out or should you change it? Well, he didn't roll it out, he changed it. Here's what he did. He got a little bit spooked by the fact that it was costing a little bit more to send lumpy mail out, and there's no bones about it, it does cost more. It's, you know, just your normal 50-cent stamp. If you've got a normal flat letter, you put some dimension to it, it does get a bit more expensive. Okay, that's the trade-off. But here's the difference. He went from a 25% response rate. What he did, he didn't change the letter in any way, didn't change the letter I wrote, except he took the lumpy mail grabber part off it. Okay, now that lumpy mail thing is a three-dimensional object you attach to your letter that gets your letter open. He took that off it, he sent the letter out to 3 times as many people. Have a guess what his response rate was. Remember, industry norm is 0.5 to 1%. He had 25%. He didn't change a thing except he took that three-dimensional grabber lumpy mail piece off it. Here was his response. 0. Nothing changed except he didn't have the three-dimensional object on it. So why lumpy mail works? Well, it basically gets your letter opened. Alright, so here it is. Here's the big one. So revealing to you, here's the letter that went out. This, you can't actually see it there because it's not there, but this one had a pen attached to it. So the three-dimensional object was a pen. This was the cover letter, the lumpy mail cover letter that went out. It had that sales letter free report attached to it, and that's the one that did $140,733 in about 5 weeks. The reason for that is there was a compelling message, there was a great offer, and importantly, it was lumpy, it was interesting, it got opened. Understand this, us humans, we're curious beings, so if something is different to the norm, we want to know what it is. So if something comes in an envelope with a lump in it, you definitely want to open it. The people who he sent this to, they definitely wanted to open it, and it was so good, they bought and bought and bought. And here's what Glenn said. I'll let you read that. Remember, industry norms 0.5 to 1%. He got a 10% response rate with that because there was a dimension to it. Okay, so why lumpy mail? It gets attention, it gets through the clutter, it makes sure your letter gets open so they can then see your offer. And the number one reason your letter, your marketing piece mailed out to your list gets ignored is because it doesn't get opened. People don't see it. So lumpy mail is one way to stand out in all that clutter and get your letter open so your offer is in front of your customers. Okay, now the main features of it must have dimension and depth to it. In other words, a toy soldier, a pen, a minty, a dice, a little bell, and we had all of those things ready for you, and I'll go through where you can get those sorts of things from and how you actually do it, because there is a formula here which if you get wrong it will be hopeless, but I'll show you how to do that. I generally don't have selling on it, okay, I just direct them to the sales weapon, which might be a free report or a letter or something like that. I usually make the lumpy mail one page, it's just a cover letter for something else, it gets attention, that's its job, and then it directs them to something else. It might be an offer or a flyer or something like that. The structure is important. You've got to have an eye-catching headline. It's good to have your picture there because selling is a human interaction, so if your picture is there it breaks down that barrier. Make sure you've got a sales caption, not just John Smith from Newcastle Electrics or whatever it might be. The key is tying in your 3D object. You need a call to action telling them what to do. Read this and you will get blah blah blah. Make sure your letter's got a PS, and you've still got to make sure you push their buttons and use the information that you had in your BFD formula at the start to push the right buttons for your market. Then make sure you sign it. Okay, just to give you an example, here's the one that got the 25% response rate. So notice, eye-catching headline here. The only thing that's not here that was on that list before is the picture of the guy. Simply could not, I could not fit it in. Okay, here was the grabber, it was a wine glass. Notice the headline. Well, so have you forgotten me? Here's 6 free bottles of wine to help you remember, plus it's our way of saying welcome back. So this was a reactivation campaign to actually get people to come back and buy. And boy, did they come back and buy. 25% response rate. You might go, well that's easy, that's simple, you offered them free wine. Here's the thing, what does your market want? When I sat down to think about this, when I went through the BFD formula for these guys, what did they want? Well, they want what all wine lovers want. They want wine. So, okay, let's give them free. Notice though, it was about when you buy 6, you get 6 free, so he's still making money on the front end. Okay, so notice it's signed here. It actually directed them to a catalogue type thing that had on, notice there's urgency and scarcity here, and there is a PS. So you'll see here, and if you need to pause it to read it, that's okay, but that's an example of one that worked extremely well. And here's a wine retailer. Okay, here's the key to success. Tying in the grabber. There is a formula. I'm going to show you that formula now. It goes like this. Dear Ian, John, whatever the person's name is. As you can see, I've attached whatever the object is, a wine glass to this letter. Why have I done this? 2 good reasons. Number 1, I wanted to get your attention. And second, or number 2, I thought the wine glass would be appropriate because, and then you've got to explain why. If you don't put that word because in there, why I've done it, then the letter becomes meaningless and irrelevant. But once you do that and you explain it, if you get people to go, oh yeah, if you get that emotional reaction, you got so far down the track to making the sale, it's not funny. Okay, so there's the formula. You don't do anything else, you've got your headline, Dear John, Dear Ian, Dear Mary. As you can see, I've attached whatever it is, a minty, a tea bag, a balloon, a dice. 1, I wanted to get your attention, and 2, I thought it would be appropriate because, and then you explain why it's appropriate. Okay, here's a full example of what it might be. As you can see, I've attached a party blower to this letter. Why have I done it? 2 good reasons. I wanted to get your attention, and I thought a party blower would be appropriate because it's all about celebrating. And when you see how you can save $407 on whatever you're selling, you'll want a party, and the blower will help you get started. Let me explain, and then you're going to explain the offer. So you tie the grabber in. Notice I've got this word because in here. Okay, because is important. It would be appropriate because, it would be fitting because, okay, then you explain why it's important, why it's appropriate. Okay, 2 big questions. Where do you get the lumpy mail grabbers from? The reject shop. You can go and buy a couple of packets of soldiers for, they've got 30 or 40 in them, you know, little plastic toy soldiers. Tell people, well, there's a war out there, it's a war for consumers at the moment. As you can see, the soldiers there, but I'm going to help you fight that war as well. I've sent you a soldier and now here's a big discount for you. Okay, so the reject shop, any of those, you know, discount stores have lots of those little trinkets you can send in the mail. And the second one is, how do you get ideas to tie the grabber in? As I said, discount stores. We use this one at Street Smart here, szwholesale.com. That's an online supply. They've got hundreds of items you can use. Now, the second question is, how do you tie it in? Well, look, it's not an exact science. How I do it is I think around the offer. I think of why I would be writing that. I also think of current events. For example, the the one that pulled in $140,000, that was a response to a government decision to change legislation, which then meant that people who bought solar panels from that particular date on didn't get as big a rebate. So my thinking, government decision, stroke of a pen, I can put a pen in, that will get their attention. And the tie in for that big letter was, as of whatever date, with one stroke of a pen, like the pen attached, the government has changed it. But the good news is you can still benefit because you're an existing solar panel owner, blah, 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 blah. So it's not an exact science. I think what the offer is, I think about events at the time, and then I just tie it in using before, or the word because rather. As you can see, I attached the because, boom, boom, boom. Okay, remember the formula. And second, I thought that whatever the grabber is would be appropriate because. Okay, maybe just you might want to pause the webinar there for a second and just jot some ideas down about what and how you could tie some lumpy mail in there to get attention. So if you need to, do that now. Okay, quick recap, here we go. We looked at how to get inside the mind of customers, so the BFD formula gave you an exercise to do with that one. How to get new customers for your business by running competitions and promotions in store, and then how to get their attention with lumpy mail. Alright, so there we go guys, 3 quick and easy ways for attracting, keeping, monetising more customers in 2012. Hope you found that useful. Hope it gave you some strategies you can use tomorrow in your business to help get more money in, more customers, and I guess bring you more sales in 2012. Alright, do you want a little bit more? I'll just go through with you just really briefly and understand what we're going through here. In some ways it loses its power because you're not looking at lumpy mail, we're not going through, we're not working through and looking at examples and getting correction from me live on the stage, but hopefully you did get something out of that. Alright, I just want to let you know of a program I've got running where you can get some more copywriting help for free. I'll just quickly go through that with you. There's no obligation, no cost to you unless you want to go on and be part of the program. Alright, but Mel and I have got a joint venture going. It's called killercopywritingsecrets.com.au. You get 1 month's free trial. You can sign up for a month, download everything, use everything. If you don't want to be any further part of it, you don't have to be. But it would be good for you to go and check out, because the types of things we've been through today is what I go through every month with my members. Okay, now I'll do this really quickly. There's 2 membership levels available, great and best. Here's what you get really quickly. The best membership I'll just go through. The other one doesn't have as much in it, but you can go and check it out online anyway. We've got a swipe file that's really important as a copywriter. Lots of industries covered, 17 different industries. There's basically the Killer Copywriting Secrets pack that was part of the big pack. That's online for you to go and download if you need to here. So it's 174 of the greatest ads ever written, the greatest headlines. Like I said, don't have to reinvent anything. Go back and have a look at these things. You can download them, will cost you nothing. Headline Creator Pro to help you create those winning headlines. That's a bit of software that that you can actually put your own words in that spits out different headlines for you. Now the Copywriting Classroom, so a webinar just like this one I do every month on a different aspect of copywriting and marketing. Members love that one. A monthly interview with a marketing guru, so people that you probably can't get access to, I can get access to, and I pick their brains about how to market and how business owners can actually do it themselves and make money. The other thing that is really popular is the monthly ad critique, ads that make you puke, lovingly called, of course. What I do is I pick an ad out from the paper which is rubbish, and I explain to you why it's rubbish. Now, why that's so powerful is that my members can then see, if they get something back from an advertising agency or an artist, why it won't work. Okay, and that's a really good skill builder, that one. You also get instant sales letter software. You get Killer Copywriting, how to write copy so good you can sell sand in the desert. You can download that. Proven winning ad to swipe every month. So like I've showed you guys here, something that works and has worked and brought in results. I post that up on the members site so you can download that and learn from it and swipe it. Swiping means steal and use it. A monthly critique, so you can send me your ads in and any of your marketing material and I'll critique it for you. That's not a rewrite, but it's a critique saying what you need to improve on. That's like having the answers to the test before you actually do it. A lot of people find that very, very valuable, and it makes them a lot of money. And I mean, there's the total value. Don't need to go into that too much. All it costs you is $97 a month if you choose to be a member of it. Past that 1 month trial, you can, as I said, sign up, download everything for free, stay for a month, and then leave. No questions asked. If that's been a great community service for you to help you with your business, fantastic. No hassles, no questions asked. You won't get 3,000 spamming emails saying come back to the course or anything like that. I'm too busy for that anyway. So there's the saving that you would make. Remember, 1 month's free trial. No brainer, no risk, cancel at any time, no questions, no hassles, no emails, what the heck are you doing? It's there for you to use, it's there for you as a resource, and you make your decision from there on. There's a couple of bonuses. First one is Killer Copywriting Checklist. That's 5 pages of things that you can actually tick off that you've done to make sure your marketing, your ad, your sales message works really well. And then the second one is probably the best book ever written on the importance of headlines. Okay, it was written in 1927. You can't get hold of it anymore. It's called The First 100 Million, and that's a really good book to help you get started in the mindset of a marketer and a copywriter. Okay, so 2 levels, as I said. The great membership is just $47 a month, so the equivalent of a carton of beer. The best membership, which has all of those things we've just been through, is a little bit more expensive of that because there's more of my time involved. Okay, 1 month's free trial, cancel at any time. Now, if you have any questions or queries, please email me at info@killercopywritingsecrets.com.au. And if you want to join up, or you want to at least go and have a look, go to killercopywritingsecrets.com.au and go through the process there. So there you go, folks. One other thing, in any email that you send me, please mention that saw you at Newcastle Retail, so I just know who I'm talking to when I respond to you. So info@killercopywritingsecrets.com.au, or go to killercopywritingsecrets.com.au. Okay, so good luck. Hopefully that was useful for you and a good use of your time. Good luck, happy new customers. It was great to meet you guys yesterday in Newcastle, so all the best.